Next, from the state capitol. As the legislature is in special session in an effort to pass a state budget, we speak with Representative Mary Flowers to get her thoughts on the issues that have held up a passage of a budget and how the growing pressure on lawmakers is affecting the process. This runs about 7 minutes. Representative Mary Flowers, thanks for joining us on the Illinois Channel. We're standing here on the 27th of June. We don't have a budget as yet, but I would say it seems that the pot is percolating. There seems to be some action. The leaders are in the Speaker's office as we stand here. What are you hearing? What are your thoughts? And what does your gut tell you about whether we will or won't have a budget passed before the end of the month?
Well, for the people's sake, I hope we do have a budget. And I would like to say that I'm optimistic, but I've been to this party a few times before. And every time we've thought we've reached some type of agreement, the governor seems to always move the goalposts. So today, he might agree to 4 or 5 items that we're supposed to be discussing, and tomorrow he'll think of a third. I'm often reminded of what the governor said prior to him being elected, and since he's been elected, in regards to crisis and how he loved crisis, and crisis is an opportunity to advocate for structural changes. The governor's been very good at creating this crisis, and he's been very good at hurting a lot of people as a result of these created crises. And it's time for us to stop. It's time for us to do something to help make sure come September the schools are open, make sure that senior citizens are still able to get their prescription drugs, to make sure that there are the property tax freezes, as well as the other things. As we worked on workman's comp, I hope it's to the governor's liking. You know, everything that he's asked for, we've tried to accommodate him. We've given him 90% of almost everything he's asked for. No one has gotten it.
Can you tell what are some of the things that you've given him that he's asked for?
Well, as far as the property tax freeze, we're working on that, and hopefully I think we do have an agreement. As far as workman's comp, we've given him that.
New changes to work comp? Or do you mean back the changes from several years ago? You're talking about new changes.
New changes. And in regards to education, we've given him that. You know, Senate Bill 1, you know, he still want to find something wrong with that, despite the fact that all the school districts seem to be very happy with it. The governor seemed to be the only one that's unhappy with it.
He didn't like the $215 million payment to the Chicago teachers' pensions.
Right, absolutely. And we're working on pension reform. So I don't know what else he is expecting, and if he wants to continue this creative crisis, he's doing a very good job of destroying Illinois. Because if we don't get a budget by June 30th, our rating will go down to nothing, absolutely nothing. And it's going to be very difficult for us to climb out of this hole that he's put us in.
When you go back to your district and talk to your constituents, to what extent are they paying attention to this, and what are they telling you in response?
Well, they are paying attention, and they're tired of it because, you know, how do people move on with their lives? They want to better themselves. They want to get better jobs. They want to have opportunities. But no one is hiring because people are afraid as far as what the governor's going to do. And people, they're kind of at a loss. Should they go to school? Should they register for school? Can they take out a student loan? Will they be able to pay that loan back? You know, is the state of Illinois going to be worthy of them staying in the state? There's a lot of unanswered questions, you know, and a lot of bills that hasn't been paid. We are so far in debt. Prior to this governor becoming elected, we was $2 billion in debt. Now, in a few short years, we're $17 billion in debt. And what does any of the things that he's been asking for, how does that restructure the debt? How does that bring revenue into the state? How is that creating jobs? How is that getting us out of this hole that we're in? It's not happening. And I don't know what he's expecting and how he's going to fill this $17 billion debt that we're in, because there's no more cuts that we can give to the poor working people of the state of Illinois. None. They've given all that they can give.
As you meet in caucus with your fellow House members, the Democratic caucus, of course, what's the feeling among the caucus? I mean, and is it different than it was, say, a year ago? I mean, this would be like the third year that we haven't had a budget. Has it changed? And if so, how has the attitude changed, would you say?
The attitude has changed. Some of the members was thinking, well, maybe we could give the governor a little bit more. And so they've seen how we've tried to work with the governor. And every time we tried to work with him, again, he moved the goalposts. There's always something else that he's asking for. To ask a person such as myself to create a work zone for the people in my district, while the people in Beverly or DuPage County, they may work and get $25 an hour, and he wants me to vote for a work zone that might pay $10 an hour. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not going to do that. That's not the reason why my constituents voted me in office, to create that disparities, because we do have one state of Illinois. And if that's the best thing that he can come up with, then we're going to be here for a while, because the things that he's asking for is just not, it's not going to work in my district. And I'm here to advocate on behalf of the people of my district as well as the people of the state of Illinois. And no one would want to have that disparity. You cannot make a living off that. You cannot feed your family. You cannot send your kids to college. You cannot pay your mortgages, pay your car note, high gas bills going up, utilities going up. You can't do that.
Mayor Flowers, I hope for all of our sake we get a budget out of this. We appreciate you joining us.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Thanks a lot.